Hey guys, Speed Driven RC here, and today we are back with another video. Today's video is going to be about how to maintain the bearings in your Traxxas / 4x4. So, real quick, I'm going to go over with you what you're going to need for this video. You're going to need a rack of some sort, various RC tools, and a can of WD-40. Okay, so we're going to go to a quick intro, and then we will get right back to the video. See you then. Okay guys, we are back, and like I said, this is my / 4x4. So real quick, I'm going to go over a quick overview of the car and everything I have on it. So this car has the stock Traxxas TQI 2.4 gigahertz. I think it's the TSM remote and receiver. It's got the stock Traxxas 2075X servo. And it is running on a Castle Creations Sidewinder SCT brushless system. I believe the motor is a 3800 kV. It's also got a Castle fan on it to keep it running cool. I'm currently running the stock gearing. I am also running the stock tires with Traxxas Ultra Shocks. And that's pretty much the overview of the car. There's really not anything else too special about it. But like I said, this does have the LCG chassis kit on it. If you guys are thinking about doing this, I do highly recommend it. It helped out a ton. So anyway, back to the video of what we were mainly here to do. This video is going to be on bearing maintenance. So sometimes if you drive in a lot of dirt, gravel, sand, even wet running conditions, you want to do a little maintenance on your bearings every once in a while. Put oil on them and do multiple things so that way you don't have to replace your bearings. So anyway, the first thing you're going to need to do is take the screw off of the wheel. I already have, so let's go ahead and take that off and we will get started. Okay, now that we have the wheel off, we are going to be going into the next step. Real quick, I want to apologize for the car being a little dirty. That's one of the reasons I am going through the maintenance. So next what you're going to want to do is get a flathead screwdriver, and we are going to take this nut off. So sometimes what you can do is, if you can get that under there far enough, kind of go around it, and you can pop that wheel nut off. Just like that. So just go ahead and pull that off. Sometimes they can be a bit stubborn coming off. And then you can see that there's a little pin in there. Now, you want to make sure that you do not lose that pin. That pin is very important. So we're going to set that aside along with the wheel nut right over here. And we're going to leave that there for the next process. So next what you're going to do is remove this screw. That screw holds on this hub carrier right here. And in a moment you will realize why we need to take that off. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and unscrew that, and then we will be right back. Okay, we are back, and we just about got this unscrewed here. So now that we got that off, you can just leave that aside. You can just leave the screw in there if you want. You just want to make sure you don't lose it. So now that we did that, we can pull this back and push that up and out of there. So now that is off. But this little washer came off. We're going to go ahead and put that with the other parts we already took off. That goes right on the bottom of here, so you want to make sure you don't lose that. Reason we took that off is to get to this bearing and this bearing. Now I'm noticing it looks like the little green kind of came off of my bearing there, so I am going to replace that soon, just to keep any problems from happening with that seizing up. But anyway, we're going to go back to our flathead screwdriver, and we're just going to put that in there. Sometimes you'll have to use the other end. It just depends, and pop those bearings out. You want to be careful because you don't want to push too hard and damage the bearing. So I'm going to go ahead and get those out, and we will be right back. Okay, we are back, and we got the bearings out now, and you'll see that they're really, really dirty. So that's where our next step comes in. So right over here, this rag I said we were going to need, we're going to use that now. We're going to take these bearings and we're going to wipe them off to get all that dirt and grime off of them. Just like that, you know. Rub them off. You can even do the outsides of them if you want. It's not necessary, but you can. Now, some people will take the covers off of them and soak them to sometimes if they get seized up. That's one way you can do it. But for right now, you can already see how much better that looks. That's not going to be necessary. We're just going to go ahead and wipe these off real quick. And then we're going to use that WD-40 we have. So here is the WD-40. I'm going to use this nozzle on here just to make sure we get it on the right spot. So now I'm going to go ahead and sit that right there. Make sure you don't put too much, but you don't want to put too little. Now we're going to spray that on that bearing. Looks like this WD-40 is about gone. There we go. And turn it over. Do the other side. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to just dry it off a bit to get a little of that excess off. We're going to blot it off a bit. Then we're going to set that one aside, or you can go ahead and put it back in the hub carrier. But for now, we're going to go ahead and do the other one real quick. There we go. Go ahead and do the other side of it. I'll get it down in there. Okay. So now we are going to go and put those back into the hub carrier. I will do that real quick, and then we will be right back and on to the next step. Okay guys, we are back, and we got the bearings put back in the hub carrier on both sides here. So real quick, we're going to put the axle back on. So what we're going to need to do for that is we're going to take the axle and see if I can get this in the picture here. It's kind of hard to do it with one hand. And we're going to stick that into that little hole there and see if we can get it all the way through. It might take a bit of time. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, especially with one hand, like I said. There we go. Now this bearing here, as you just saw, tried to pop out. Make sure that stays in. So now that we got that back in, you want to make sure you get it in all the way, because there's a little pin that we took out that we're going to have to get back into that shaft. You can't see the hole on there quite yet, but real quick, what we're going to do just to hold that in place is we are going to connect this little arm here back onto the hub carrier. So real quick, we're just going to take that and screw that back on with our screwdriver. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I will be right back. Okay, now that we got that screwed back on, that is all being held in place. So we're going to put that little pin back in there. See that little hole right there? We're going to take that pin and we're going to put it through there. And what this little pin, oops, I dropped it, is used for is it connects to the wheel hub, and that's what holds that on. So real quick, we're going to slide it through that hole. See if I can get it in there. There we go, just like that. And then we are going to take our wheel nut, slide it back on. It's being a little stubborn here. Come on. Go back on. Darn it. Let's see here. There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn that until it catches and lines up. And then we're going to push that back onto there, like so. There we go. And then we are going to put our wheel back on. So I'm going to go ahead and put that wheel back on, and I will be right back. Okay, we got our wheel back on. And now we are done with this side. So just to save time for you guys and for the video, I am going to go ahead and do the rest of the 3 off camera. And as soon as I get that done, we will be right back and on to the next part. Okay guys, now that I am done with all the rest of the sides, I will go ahead and let you know there is one last place to do. You're going to need to remove this motor gear cover. I have mine set up where I only have to remove this one screw here. I think it maybe has 2 or 3 originally that hold it in place. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But anyway, you're going to do that, and then once you remove that, you are going to spray a little bit of oil right behind the pinion gear on the motor and a little bit on the bearing in the spur gear. Now, I just changed my pinion out on this not too long ago. I think I did maybe 2 days ago. So I went ahead and put some oil on that while I was at it. So I am not going to do that today, mainly just to save time. But anyway, once you get that done, you are done. For something like this, you don't have to do it every time you drive. That might be a bit overkill, but I would recommend doing it, every so often, especially if you're driving in extreme conditions, so to say, mud or snow or, any type of wet condition, or maybe even in a lot of dust and dirt. I would recommend doing this every time you clean your car. That depends on how often you do so. I tend to do this at least maybe twice a month just to keep my bearings intact in this car. I will go ahead and say I've been doing this for a while, and I have never had a bearing go out on me. I've never had to replace a bearing yet so far on this car. So yeah, this process does work. It's very well worth the time it takes to do it. It's not a confusing project by all means. It's a very easy thing to do, and it is, like I said, well worth the time. So anyway, guys, I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please like and subscribe, and leave in the comments if there's any other maintenance sort of related thing on any other car that you might want me to help you out with. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.